Hello! I would like to welcome you to the Laramy-K Optician Works Training Center, where last week I gave you some red flags to watch for during your first couple of job interviews as a new optician. Next week, we're going to talk about your role as an optician in the success of a business. This week, I'm going to talk about the responsibility of ownership. Keep watching. This one, the responsibilities of ownership, is a middle piece in a series of 3. We have the red flags to look out for during your first couple of job interviews. This one, and then next week we're going to cover the role of the optician in the success of an independent optical practice. But for today, we're going to talk about the responsibilities of ownership, which are extremely very high. Most of the time, almost all the time. I mean, ask yourself, when was the last time you saw an optical place go out of business, right? Not very often. When optical, it's often worth it. And I am talking almost exclusively here about the independent doctor of optometry. Chances are excellent that you will end up working for one at some point. But almost everything that I'm talking about here would also apply to trying to open up a place as an independent optician. The other thing that might happen, so everybody needs to watch this one, is you may work for corporate, you may work for lens crafters for 5, 6, 7, 10 years, and that independent doctor of optometry across town has been courting you to come and work for him. You finally decide you're going to give up corporate and go and work for an independent. Ruh-roh, there's some things that you need to think about in a different way. We'll talk about that in just a minute. Now, those responsibilities, the extremely high level of responsibilities, are both financial and conscientious. Meaning they're material, you have the bills to pay every single month, can't avoid them, they're physical, they come, you have to write the check and pay them. And they are abstract. It's the human being trying to do what's right by the people that work for him or her, the patients, the customers, the opticians, the receptionist. It's also conscientious. Now, they always say the grass is always greener on the other side of the fence. And I always like to point out that green grass costs a lot of money. And the grass is actually greener at the OD's house than yours. They can afford the landscaper and the irrigation. Their house is nicer. Their vacations look better than yours do sometimes. But never forget that that is earned. They earn that. 8 years of school and earning a doctorate degree. Taking on the huge level of responsibility that we're talking about here, stuff we're going to cover in just a second. They earn that. Remember, in half of the United States, I can take out a piece of cardboard, a purple crayon, write optician on it, and open up an optical shop. You can't do that as an OD, and there are reasons for that. My last note says things to consider, and it says markets fluctuate. In corporate, you don't recognize those things. If you are the worst performing store in the entire LensCrafters chain, it doesn't matter. The doors will still be open, the lights will be on, the AC works, and you'll get your paycheck on Friday. In the independent, if you are the worst performing store in a mid-sized town, well, you might be one of the first opticals to go out of business, or you may find that you have lost your job or have reduced hours or your benefits get cut. Markets fluctuate. That's a big piece of the responsibility of ownership for that independent person, the owner, and for you that you need to think about. Again, think like a business person. Opticians are in business. If you want to work for an independent doctor of optometry, an independent store, you must think as a business person. I left my little shocked face up there for a reason. I went to opticianry school. I got out. I went to work for Lens Crafters, the biggest corporate big box store.
And your glasses will be ready in about an hour.
For 5 or 6 years, did some other stuff. Then I went to work for an independent doctor of optometry. Wow, it is very, very different. You are so separated from the business part of things when you work for the corporation, the big box store. Again, guys, for the 100,000th time, opticians are in business. Opticians are not in healthcare. If you think that way, you will greatly increase your value to the independent optometry and even to corporate also. These are just some of the financial commitments that are involved in owning and operating a business that you may never consider, but should. Insurance. It must cover the store, equipment, personal liability, and any medical and legal aspects of the business. Utilities. You have to pay for water, sewer, power, heating, air conditioning, internet. Accounting. Monthly payroll, yearly taxes, sales taxes. Legal fees, collections, yearly business corporation status application, rent, thousands of dollars a month, employee benefits of any kind, federal employee taxes, state and local employee taxes, business licenses, corporation fees, upkeep items, bulbs, AC filters, toilet paper, paper towels, tissues, paint, rugs, mats, payments on equipment leases, hundreds to thousands of dollars each month. Lab bills, due every month. Frame bills, due every month. Credit card processing fees. Contact lens bills, due every month. Inventory, damages, worn or damaged furniture, chipped paint, worn rugs. Mother Nature, storms, floods, wind damage. Stolen items, frames and other merchandise. Office equipment, computers and printers. Postage, your software licenses. Office supplies, paper, pens, markers, tapes, staples. Advertising, if you choose to do that. And any donations to local charities, schools, and churches. That's just some of the money, folks, going out. Right? You understand how much has to be coming in to cover all of that and leave something else on the table called profit for the owner. Stop. If you need to rewind, listen to it again, think about it. Next, we have the more abstract stuff. Here are some of the personal things that are involved in owning and operating a business that you may never consider, but you should. Personnel, employee issues, tardiness, theft, drinking and drug use, absence, failure to get along with others, understaffing, overstaffing, resignations, inconsistent behavior, income issues, markets fluctuate, changes in the economy, recessions, local shifts in employment like a large factory closing, can all drastically reduce income in a very brief period of time. Location issues, increases in rent, changing demographics of an area or socioeconomic shifts. Health. There is very, very little freedom to be absent from work. If you are not there doing exams as an OD, you are not driving prescriptions, you are not driving income. Responsibility. That you are literally legally responsible for the health and safety and well-being of their patients, employees. It includes potential fines, legal punishment, and even prison. It happens. So never forget, as an optician, you are part of that business, and we will talk about your role in that next week. Do yourself a huge favor before you ever sit down for that first interview with an independent doctor of optometry for a job, or you are thinking of switching from corporate to independent. Go back, listen to those lists again, think about what that means. You will have a lot more empathy and understanding, and you'll have some of the buzzwords necessary to land that job. Thank you so much for watching. If you are watching us on Facebook, please do give us a like. If you're watching us on YouTube, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button down there in the corner and make absolutely certain that every lens that you sell for the business that you work for comes from Laramy-K. I will see you again next week. To face up there for a reason, I went to